On September 2nd, 2025, Mexico stands at a turning point in its history, a moment that could reshape the very foundation of its justice system for generations to come. The air is thick with anticipation and hope, as well as uncertainty about what lies ahead. For the first time ever, ordinary citizens, not politicians or insiders, have chosen the judges who will sit on the nation's highest court. Across the country, millions lined up at polling stations, casting their ballots and making their voices heard in a process that was both historic and deeply personal for many. Just yesterday, the newly elected Supreme Court judges, selected by the people themselves, officially began their duties. Their arrival marks the start of a new era, one filled with both promise and daunting responsibility. This dramatic shift comes after months of heated political battles and public debate, which have fundamentally altered the way justice is delivered in Mexico. The reform was not without controversy, sparking passionate arguments in Congress and on the streets. But this is more than just a policy change. It's a seismic transformation, putting the power to shape the courts directly into the hands of the people. For many, it feels like a long overdue step toward true democracy and accountability. For decades, many Mexicans have felt that the justice system was distant, unapproachable, and often stacked against the average citizen. Stories of corruption, favoritism, and slow-moving cases have eroded public trust, leaving many to wonder if justice was really for everyone. The new rule, championed by the Morena party, was designed to break the grip of entrenched elites and make judges truly answerable to the public. Supporters say it's a bold move to restore faith in the courts and ensure that justice is fair and transparent. This sweeping idea was first introduced by former President López Obrador, a leader known for challenging the status quo, and has been carried forward by his successor, President Claudia Sheinbaum, who has promised to see the reforms through. The reform, known as Plan C, is more than just a set of new rules. It's a statement that no branch of government should be untouchable. Plan C aims to open the doors of justice to everyone, making sure that the courts reflect the will and needs of the people. Now, as these new judges settle into their roles, the nation is holding its breath. Will this bold experiment finally clean up the courts and deliver the fairness people have long demanded? Or will it bring new challenges and unexpected consequences? Around the globe, eyes are fixed on Mexico as it embarks on this unprecedented journey. The world is watching closely, eager to see if this new chapter will become a model for justice, or a cautionary tale for others to learn from. The new law is huge, one of the most sweeping changes to Mexico's justice system in decades. It's not just a small adjustment or a minor reform. This is a complete overhaul of how the country's courts work, and it's already sparking debate across the nation. Now, every federal judge, from the smallest local courts all the way up to the Supreme Court, is chosen directly by the people through voting. This means that ordinary citizens have a direct say in who interprets and enforces the law at every level. The old way of picking judges, where officials were appointed after passing tough exams and interviews, is gone. Instead, judges must now win the trust and support of voters, just like politicians do. This is a dramatic shift from the past, and it changes the relationship between the courts and the public. The Supreme Court itself has also changed. The number of judges has been reduced from 11 to 9, and their terms have been shortened from 15 years to 12. Supporters say this will keep the court fresh and more in touch with society's needs. The main idea behind all these changes is to create a court system that listens more closely to what the public wants and needs. The hope is that judges will be more aware of the real-life problems people face and make decisions that reflect the will of the people. To make sure judges follow the rules, a new group called the Judicial Disciplinary Tribunal was created. This tribunal has the power to watch over judges, investigate complaints, and punish those who break the law or act unethically. Many people believe this will make judges more responsible and careful in their decisions, knowing that someone is always watching. Supporters of the reform say it will finally get rid of unfairness and corruption in the courts. They argue that judges will have to answer to the people, not just to politicians or powerful interests, making the system more fair and transparent. But critics warn that this new system could backfire. They worry that the Judicial Disciplinary Tribunal could be used as a tool for political pressure, making judges afraid to make unpopular decisions, even if those decisions are right. Some fear that the courts could become less independent and more vulnerable to outside influence. The new rule offers a clear choice to the country: a court system that is more directly responsible to the people, or one that risks being easily controlled by politicians and public opinion. This is a turning point for Mexico's justice system. The country must now decide if it wants a court that is truly independent or one that is more closely tied to the will of the people and the government. Mexico's justice system is now unique in the world, a bold experiment in direct democracy and a test that is bigger than anything the country has tried before. The stakes are very high, and the world is watching to see what happens next. This big change didn't just happen out of nowhere. Many people support it. A survey found that 66% of Mexicans agree with choosing judges by voting. Among people who support Morena, this number goes up to 76%. Young people especially want this change. 71% of those aged 18-34 support the new law. Many people see voting for judges as a way to break the power of a small group of powerful judges and get judges who understand everyday problems. If we vote for our president, why not our judges? Is something many people say. The new rule is seen as a main part of Morena's plan, and its popularity is connected to how much people like its leaders. For many, this is a chance to make justice fair for everyone, not just those with power. The new rule is very connected to what Morena wants to do in politics. For years, López Obrador had problems with the Supreme Court because it stopped his main plans. He saw it as a place that supported old ways. After the 2024 elections, Morena had a very large number of votes, so they quickly changed the constitution, making it possible to vote for judges. People who don't like this warn that it's not making things more democratic, but rather letting one group take over, putting judges under the control of the ruling party. During the first campaigns, some people running for judge were unofficially linked to Morena, which made it hard to tell the difference between fairness and politics. The worry is, Mexico's courts could become just another part of the president's office, taking away the judge's independence. What's at stake is nothing less than how power is shared in Mexican democracy. Even with public support, the new rule has been strongly criticized by groups of citizens, legal experts, and people watching from other countries. Critics say that making judges campaign for votes makes them less fair and turns justice into a popularity contest. The first election had over 7,700 people running for 2,600 jobs. The voting papers were long and confusing, and voters didn't have much information. Without party names, many people voted based on names they knew, not on how good the person was for the job. Inside the court system, the new rule caused big protests and strikes. Legal professionals warned it would ruin careers and replace skilled judges with people who are just popular. The fear is that justice will be decided by what most people want, not by what the law says. Many people are wondering if democracy is getting stronger or dangerously weaker because of this process. The biggest worry is the risk of criminal groups getting involved. In a country where criminal groups have a lot of power, voting for judges could become a new place for unfairness and threats. The violence during the 2024 campaigns, where many politicians were killed, shows that criminal groups will do anything to control important jobs. A judge who owes favors to criminal groups cannot be fair. Having many new judges who don't have much experience makes the risk even higher, as many don't have the support and good judgment to say no to pressure. If criminal groups get into the courts, the rule of law could fall apart. Supporters see new faces as a fresh start. Critics see a dangerous weakness. The new system will be tested by how well it can stand up to organized crime. This change has come with a high price. The new rule caused many experienced judges to quit, taking away their knowledge from the system. Thousands of judges left their jobs to campaign, which caused a huge delay in cases and slowed down justice for victims and people accused of crimes. Trials have been stopped, with some needing to start all over again if a judge lost their election. Local governments now have to pay for changes to their own systems without getting extra money, which makes things harder. Many new judges need urgent training on how to manage courts and handle paperwork. The challenge of getting everything done is huge, and it could stop the very justice that the new rule promised. Regular people are caught in the middle of this big test. The newly formed Supreme Court of Mexico faces a series of immediate and extremely significant challenges. As the country watches closely, these first cases will set the tone for how the court will operate and what kind of justice it will deliver. The eyes of the nation, and indeed the world, are on these judges as they step into their roles, tasked with making decisions that could reshape Mexican society for years to come. One of the most urgent issues is the question of pretrial detention. In Mexico, thousands of people are kept in jail before their trials, often for months or even years, even though they have not been found guilty of any crime. This practice has led to severe overcrowding in prisons and has drawn criticism from human rights organizations and foreign governments alike. The court must now decide whether to uphold this controversial rule or to push for reforms that could change the lives of countless individuals awaiting justice. The decision is not an easy one. While pretrial detention is currently legal, it is deeply unpopular among many Mexicans who see it as unfair and damaging. The justices must weigh the need for public safety against the fundamental rights of the accused, knowing that whatever they decide will have far-reaching consequences for the legal system and for public trust in the courts. Another major test is the issue of abortion rights. In recent years, Mexico has made progress in expanding access to abortion, but the debate remains heated. The Supreme Court will soon be asked to decide whether to protect the current rules that allow abortion or to respond to growing pressure from conservative groups who want to roll back these rights. The outcome will have a profound impact on women's health and freedom across the country. The rights of transgender people are also on the court's agenda. At stake is whether individuals will be able to legally change their name and gender on official documents throughout Mexico. This decision could set a national standard for equality and recognition, or it could reinforce barriers that many transgender people still face in their daily lives. Economic issues are also looming large. The court will soon rule on mining laws that have sparked controversy among foreign investors and local communities. These decisions could influence Mexico's trade relationships, the environment, and the livelihoods of thousands of workers. The stakes are high, and the outcomes will be closely watched by both business leaders and ordinary citizens. With each case, the new Supreme Court will reveal whether elected judges can truly balance the demands of the law, the expectations of the public, and the pressures of politics. Their choices will either build confidence in this new system or raise fresh concerns about its independence and fairness. The court's decisions will not only affect the legal landscape, but will also shape the future of human rights, social norms, and economic policy in Mexico. The impact will be felt in the daily lives of millions, from the largest cities to the most remote villages. As these first crucial tests unfold, the world is watching to see how Mexico's new Supreme Court will respond, and what kind of country it will help to build. Mexico's test is one of the boldest in modern democracy. Supporters see a new time where the people have the power, with justice shaped by them, not by a small group of powerful people. They hope elected judges will be more responsible and less unfair. But critics worry about losing judges' independence and the rise of political or criminal influence. The risks, voters being confused, the system breaking down, and criminal groups taking over, are real. The future of Mexican justice is hanging in the balance, depending on the bravery and honesty of thousands of new judges. The country is at a crossroads, moving towards a democracy that listens more, or losing the checks and balances that keep power in line. The world watches as Mexico's big test continues.